Hello, everyone. So, we have a really jam-packed show today, and we're going to get to it, but not before saying hello to everyone. Connie Balmer was the first person in, and she came in as I was setting up. So, hello to Connie. I see Gwen right now, so hello to Gwen. I had Duran Coco, that guy who's always coming in the chat, had a promotion yesterday. So I had to, not yesterday, day before, and it was a whole ordeal. So we are back and hopefully better than ever. Our episode is entitled Girl Keep Your Head Up, and that is our song of the day for today. And if you know that song, if you don't know that song, it's by Tupac. And so it's one of my favorite songs. And you'll see in a few minutes why. So let's begin like we typically begin with a non-denominational prayer and a super short meditation. So let's see. All right, so first let's do the square breathing exercise. So inhale, we're going to do this 3 times. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold empty for 4. So inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold empty, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale all the good vibes you can. Hold in those good vibes, 2, 3, 4. Exhale all of the bad stuff, 2, 3, 4. And hold empty, 2, 3, 4. That's typically the hardest part. Last time, big inhale, 2, 3, 4, all the good vibes. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Hold in those vibes. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, all the bad stuff. Hold empty, 2, 3, 4. And so let us begin with, how about a moment of silence for about 5 seconds instead of the prayer, to just say thank you to whomever you would like to, and then we are going to get into it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I wrote a small, little rap for today, and it's going to discuss like what we're going to be talking about. And this episode is about Meghan and Meghan's friends, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about our tomorrow's episode in just a second. So Meghan moves with grace, they can't take her space. Media sharks swarm, but she sets the pace. Melissa by her side, laughs in the face. Stormzy spits the truth, cuts through the race. Serena stands tall, a champion's embrace. Yara's words sharp, her truth interlace. Jane lifts her voice, praises her grace. Elton's song soars in Meghan's case. Tyler gives shelter, provides her place. Priyanka speaks out, never a trace of disgrace. Jameela calls out the bias we face. Idris stands firm, defends her space. Oprah reveals all their story encased. Melissa's legal mind fights every case. We rise together, solidarity in the race. Keep your heads up, we'll win this chase. All right, so all you guys and girls and guys, keep your heads up because we have Meghan, right? So we're going to talk about how our song intersects with Meghan. So if you know Tupac's song, it starts with, some say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. These words come from Tupac's Keep Your Head Up, remind us of the strength and beauty that lies within us, often unrecognized by a world quick to judge. Let's start by shifting our focus let's start by not talking about the media sharks to the crystal clear support surrounding our Duchess. The media has often painted a negative picture of Meghan, but we, her allies, tell a different story. These people, us and others, are the people who uplift her advocate for her causes, and stand by her side no matter what. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? How's this mic? Do you prefer this one or do you prefer, is this sound better? I don't know that. Is this one better? This is more dynamic, I think. So, as we know, we remember Melissa McCarthy, right? Her friend with a teacup. Actress and comedian Melissa McCarthy isn't just a Hollywood acquaintance. She's a vocal supporter of Meghan. Remember their hilarious video promoting Meghan's 40 by 40 initiative? Melissa's words resonate with admiration and support for Meghan. And also, before I really get into this episode, this is a short series. We're going to, tomorrow, we're going to be talking about this other guy. So let me say that before I forget. Let me transition really quickly to this guy. So hold tight. So you guys remember Kevin Spacey? We're going to be talking about Meghan's father-in-law and his friends. What about your friends? And so this is one of the friends we're going to be talking about. Kevin Spacey and his relationship with King Charles, who, when he was embroiled in that huge scandal, was sending him messages allegedly via people in his workforce to keep his head up, if you will. So, so I wonder at times if Mr. PM, who Piers, if he's actually a friend of King Charles, because the way he interviewed Kevin Spacey and brought that out, I don't think he's anybody's friend. So we're going to be talking about Kevin and some of the other allegedly slimy people that are associated with King Charles tomorrow. So back to this. So yeah. So what about your friends, King Charles? Like, who are your friends? We know who Meghan's are, right? So we're talking about Melissa. We're starting with her. So like she said, Meghan is a smart woman in her own life. And it's incredibly threatening. You guys remember this? And Angela, your favorite troll, allegedly had a whole lot to say about this. Meghan is a smart woman with her own life. And it's incredibly threatening to some people. But she's doing great things. And I'm happy to be a part of it. Melissa McCarthy. And so Angela thought she was going to clap back in that interview and talk smack. And then she ended up getting called a troll, right? So, and then again, Tupac, and when he tells you, so the media, and when he tells you you ain't nothing, don't believe him. This line is from Tupac's, is echoed in UK rapper Stormzy's powerful defense of Meghan. Do you guys remember that? And recently he did an interview and he addressed the unjust criticism that Meghan faces. And he said, if you told someone to write a list as to why they hate Meghan Markle, the list is rubbish. There's nothing credible to it. Meghan is a sweet woman. She's a lovely woman. She does her thing. I ain't heard her say nothing crazy. And they just hate her. So we've all heard that, right? You guys know the grimy rapper, the grunge rapper, grime rapper, I think is what he goes by, Stormzy. He did an interview also with Hot 97. And so his words remind us that the criticism of Meghan has no basis and is rooted in deeper issues of race and prejudice. And it's also rooted in deeper issues of class and Meghan not belonging because of her, xenophobia, classism, racism. All of these things are combined into one big slogan or one big idea about why she doesn't belong. And so Stormzy addressed that, like, she hasn't said anything, she hasn't done anything except be her best, beautiful, wonderful, kind self. And here they always have all the smoke. Hey, Novi, I see you out there. Anita, hello. Yeah, so it is wild out there right now. And so what I'm seeing also is when you make a parallel between the members of the UK media royal family and Meghan, and you look at their friends and you see who these friends are, and you look at their values, show me your values, you can see a stark difference, right? And so, all of the people that King Charles has been friends with, that we know about, all of the people that when we lift up their skirts and we see King Charles supporting Kevin Spacey, for those of you who are not or unfamiliar with Kevin Spacey, look him up and look, apparently, I didn't watch the entire interview, but apparently he kind of lost it when he was being interviewed by Piers Morgan. He lost all of his gigs because of racism and because of, the thing Kendrick Lamar accused Drake of, right? So he is being tried for liking kids. I'll say it that way. And so, like, when you talk about the king allegedly sending him via his workers, somebody who works for him, support, that's wild. There's not one charge against the Duchess that comes close to that. There's not one charge. Like, I'm sending you support? What does that say about the royal family and the monarchy to a larger degree when we shine a light on that? And why is the media not exposing that? Why are they trying to look at, like, microscopically take a look at the Duchess and frame her in the same way that they should be framing these people? Like, you don't hear a peep really in the media, I don't, about Prince Andrew and his antics. You don't, and so it has been alleged that when we begin to uncover the misdeeds of Prince Charles, Prince Andrew's misdeeds will pale in comparison to what the things are that King Charles has done, allegedly. And I say allegedly, it's been alleged. And some have also alleged that that is the reason that Andrew is never going to move into Queen Charlotte's house. Because why would he have to? If he had some kind of secrets, if he's holding secrets about the current king, and he gets angry, you make me move, then I can literally take the monarchy down, and you with it. Because why wouldn't he? If we are to believe that Andrew and others have this kind of information. And so why, that's a question. Why are they always coming for Meghan and trying to cover or cloak for these other people? So yeah, we've got that. So keep your head up. So then, Tupac took the music from the song, Ooh Child, Things Are Gonna Get Easier. These hopeful lyrics from Tupac remind us of the powerful support and solidarity that Meghan has. Here's some incredible allies who champion Meghan, our Princess Duchess of Sussex. We all have, our girl Serena, tennis champion and longtime friend who's spoken out against the racist treatment Meghan has received. Serena said, Meghan is my selfless friend who lives her life and leads by example with empathy and compassion. She teaches me every day what it means to be truly noble. I wish people would understand the way she is, kind, loving, and above all, genuine. And that comes from Harper's Bazaar. So again, Serena is not out here, she's out here doing great things, and she wouldn't be out here capping and caping for Meghan if she just wouldn't do it, because that would, it could potentially harm her brand, if you will. She loves Meghan. Meghan is a wonderful, genuine person, as Serena said. And so why are you guys, throwing rocks at Meghan and hiding your hands? Why are you, when she got out of there, she moved, and all the news does is drip, drip, drip. We're going to talk about Meghan. We're going to talk about Meghan. We're going to talk about Meghan, right? And so Yara Shahidi, love Yara, actress and activist who's spoken out about the importance of representation and the challenges faced by women of color, including Meghan, said, we need to recognize the systemic issues that women of color face. Meghan's story is not just her own. And don't we always say that? Meghan's story is not just her own. It is a reflection of what many endure, including me. And her resilience is a testament to the strength that lies within us all. So I'm going to read that again. We need to recognize the systemic issues that women of color face. Meghan's story is not just her own. It is a reflection of what many endure. Her resilience is a testament to the strength that lies within us all. And so for those of us who have faced challenges based on being a woman, based on being a woman of color, based on breaking whatever kind of barriers or going into a system where people perceive that we don't belong in said system. We understand this because we've seen it. And Yara Shahidi, Harvard graduate, who is also an actress and a peer of, she's quite a bit younger. She's probably close to 25, I would say. So quite a bit younger, that next generation, but has said these things about Meghan because even in her generation, as a Gen Zer, she has faced these things. My generation, I'm a Gen Xer. I have faced these things. So I have an understanding of what that is, right? And so then Jane Fonda, another ally, and Jane's been like doing this. She got it since back in at least the 60s. I don't remember, but I remember reading and hearing that, she said something and she was speaking out against the Vietnam War. So she's been doing it since, at least advocating, being an advocate. But we ask, yes, that's what we ask of the people who support us. We not only ask for you to be an ally. We don't need allies. We need advocates. What are you doing out here in these streets, Sussex Squad, to help the Princess Duchess, right? That is the job of the Sussex Squad. That is why we formed, so that we could talk back for many of us to these narratives that are constantly being crafted. So what about her friends, right? Meghan's friends, they help her keep her head up. So Jane Fonda, actress and activist who has praised Meghan's humanitarian work and her courage in speaking out. Her words of praise are both empowering and encouraging. Jane said, Meghan's bravery in speaking her truth is inspiring. Her commitment to humanitarian work is commendable, and I stand with her. We need more voices like hers, strong and unwavering, to drive the change we seek in the world. Yes, can I get an I am Meghan Markle in the chat? Can I get an I am Meghan Markle in the chat? Again, we need more voices like hers, strong and unwavering, to drive the change we seek in the world. And Jane Fonda's to drive the change we seek in the world sounds to me a lot like a parallel with Barack Obama's be the change you want to see in the world, right? Because that is important that we be impactful. And Jane Fonda sees Meghan as impactful, as we all do. And so, then we get to Sir Elton John, and we know, we remember the trip that Meghan took to Sir Elton John's house for some respite, and how that was dissected, and they threw everything, including sharks, at her, right? So you guys know he's a musician and friend who's spoken out against the negative media coverage of Meghan. And what did he share? He talked about Prince Harry's mother. Princess Diana was one of my dearest friends. I feel a profound sense of duty to protect Harry and his family from the media's relentless attacks. The way they've been treated is nothing short of disgraceful. Yes, and I think we could go a lot further. You could have a whole lot of D's, just like our girl Jasmine Crockett had a lot of B's, right? It is nothing short of deplorable, disgusting, disgraceful, all of that, right? And so what has she done? She has been out here, just like our thumbnail shows, if you can see that on the screen right now, on your screen, out there battling these sharks, who attack her based on sexism. You see the BM out there, racism, hate, right? And she's been using her superpowers to fight against it. And her superpowers are her kindness. Her superpowers are her resilience. Her superpowers are, include her desire to keep fighting and to maintain her family and to live in a way that suits her, to live in a way that allows her to be completely herself and to be okay with whatever choices that she makes, right? And so we see that. And then, so we understand that Elton John did a lot of the work for our Duchess, right? When Meghan was in distress, when Prince Harry, when they were dealing with things and they went to stay at his house for a while, we saw that. But we saw that also in another guy that we're going to talk about, right? We saw that in Tyler Perry, right? We understand what Tyler Perry did for Duchess Meghan. Tyler Perry, the filmmaker, who provided Meghan and Harry with a home and security when they first moved to the US, his actions speak louder than words, offering a sanctuary and support during their tumultuous time. Tyler said, we didn't know where to go. Tyler said that this is what happened. They said, we didn't know where to go. We had no security. And it was only because of Tyler Perry that we were able to have a safe place to stay. His generosity and kindness was life-saving, right? So Elton John, what he did for them in their times of distress, and Tyler Perry, what he did for them in their time of distress, and then what the Sussex Squad has done for them in their time of distress, right? So we are out here in these streets doing this work. Hello, Fatima. Banzola, Fatima. How are you? How are you? Can I get an I am Meghan Markle in the chat, please? Did I say that? Do I need to type it first? I can do that. I can, yeah, put my work down that I'm working with and type that. I am Meghan Markle. Guys, I am Meghan. You can put a princess, you can put a duchess, you can put an Archie's mom, however you choose. But let us affirm our duchess, right? So we've had Meghan be rescued because she's also been in the process of rescuing herself. We understand how she got her puppies, her animal friends, right? Her animal family members. We saw one of them riding in the car with Guy, riding in the car with Queen Elizabeth II on their wedding day, right? So yeah, we can go back to like all the hate that Meghan and Harry face, but more specifically Meghan, because why? Why does she face this hate? We don't have an answer. And, you know, sometimes people will point to certain things, or I'll see people trying. They be trying, like, really? They be invariant be that, you know, our favorite person, one of our favorite people, Toni Morrison, talks about how you can use invariant be like 42, 43 different ways. They be trying, the media be trying to come up with ways to justify their hate, their targeted hate of our Duchess. But we know what the real deal is, right? So, yeah, we've seen Elton John, Jane Fonda, Serena Williams, all of us, Yara Shahidi, supporting Meghan. And Priyanka Chopra. So she has publicly supported Meghan, and what she said was, Meg is a person who believes in the power of humanity. She has a heart of gold and is a humanitarian. People need to stop being so critical of her. She represents the best of what we should aspire to be. So what does it mean to say, or to talk about, to try and create a person in the image that you want to make them be, right? So the media has been engaged in a targeted campaign of hate against the Duchess, but not only have they been in a targeted campaign of hate against our Duchess, they have been trying to redefine an old political strategy, who she is, by putting out all of these articles and more articles and more articles and more articles, right? Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. They've been putting out, you know, literally tens of articles every single day to sell their newspapers and also to do the bidding allegedly of the royal family. And what is the bidding of the royal family allegedly? It is to bring them down in a way so that they can shine above them. Isn't that, like, when you think about someone's desire, a family's desire, an institution's desire, not to do the work themselves, right? Not to shine a light on the fact that my kid, my baby, you know, Prince Harry, my darling boy, is out there with his darling wife doing this work all over the world, right? That's not what they're doing. What they're doing is saying, you know, the work that you do doesn't matter. The work that you do doesn't represent us. The work that you do, we don't care, allegedly. We don't care what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. We are going to use everything we have, including and especially our media allies, to go against you and to target every single thing you do. And when we decide that we want to own some part of whatever it is that you've done, especially on our soil, we'll do that too. So, we hear the chatter about them trying to take away Invictus Games, saying that the games belong to us. It is can you imagine what would happen if they were successful in being able to take the games? What would nations do? I think that perhaps Prince Harry would change the name and do it himself. And they don't want to do the work, but they want all the shine, like it's hard to be a worker bee. And it's not something they choose to engage in, but they want all of the adoration. They don't, there's some phrases I could use right now, and I'm trying to hold myself back from using them. Let's see. Gwen Daniel says, absolutely agree. Glad Harry and Meghan had people to help them. Yes, their lives literally depended on it, right? We saw every place they went, every little step they took. And then when I talked to my dad, and then the next day after I spoke with my father, suddenly, here they are. They're right on our doorstep. It didn't make sense that the Prince Charles, King Charles, wasn't involved in outing wherever they are. And outing them for what? Outing them to the sharks so they could continuously dissect them. Every move, like, okay, you wanted them out of UK. You wanted them out, they left. Now what do you want? They left. What more do you want from them than to leave, right? So they did that. And so after they did that, you continuously, allegedly, sick the sharks on Harry and Meghan, Meghan and Harry. And these people that we named are, quite frankly, tired of it. And so next up, Idris Elba. Idris Elba, the actor, and her DJ at her wedding defended Meghan and praised her for handling media scrutiny with grace. Idris noted, Meghan has faced an incredible amount of unfair treatment, but she handles it with such grace and dignity. We need to support her and stand against this injustice. Her resilience is a beacon for us all. Yeah, it is. And, we see our little lighthouse that's a beacon that is us hopefully supporting her, right? It is a beacon for us. And at the same time, why should she have to? Why should she have to be a beacon standing against hate? Why can't she just be free to live her life without all of this media scrutiny? All she did was marry a man that she loved. Like, how would it be if we had to face that kind of media hate? We saw what happened when the sharks, and I'm not even going to say sharks. Let me say that differently. We saw what happened when Princess Kate had a medical challenge, allegedly, and people were just asking specifics about her whereabouts. And as soon as that started happening, oh no, you're bullying, and then the C word. It was not 1% of what the princesses faced. And they couldn't handle it. You sicked the sharks on Meghan and Harry, allegedly. You did that to the mother of your grandchildren. Is there something about those grandchildren that you're not okay with? I'll wait. What could it be, right? What could it be about those kiddos and those kiddos' parents, especially their mama, that would cause such great hate against her? I recognize it as some of the things that have happened to me personally, like, oh, okay, got you, right? And we see the attacks against her gender. We see the attacks against her race. We see the attacks against her being a foreigner, if you will. So the xenophobia is real. The racism is real. The sexism is real. The hate is real. And when a fraction of that, a 1% of that comes for, and not even coming for the Princess of Wales, what was happening, as you guys all know, is that people were asking questions out of concern. And that got turned into bullying. And there's been no explanation. There's been very little explanation and no proof that I've seen So if you guys have seen some proof, can you please put it out there? Because I have seen no proof about where the Princess of Wales is. And, you know, some squaddies have pointed out that a lot of this stuff started happening when the Dutch version, I believe it was the Dutch version of Harry Spare came out. And so things, you know, things started happening. And then earlier, yeah. And so, like, we're asking these questions because we are concerned about her. And we get called everything but a child of God, as my mother would say, about asking questions. And we've even asked questions about what can be done. Can there be a social worker? Can there be a welfare check performed on her? Apparently not. Apparently, whatever gets put out in the press in the UK when it concerns a member of the royal family is all we get. And so it leaves us to wonder and wander, right? We are wandering around like trying to figure this thing out. And why so much deflection is happening? Why is there such a fever pitch at this moment about our Duchess? You know, because it seems like that something is happening that we are unaware of. But I hear it bubbling up again. I hear a lot of the concerns around the Princess of Wales bubbling up. And we are Meghan's friends. We are the Duchess's friends. And so we are out here to be her ally. And again, when we take a look underneath their tablecloths and we see whose shoes are underneath that table, and we see Prince Charles sending, you know, via his surrogates information, or so that Kevin Spacey understands that Prince Charles, is with him. That is wild to me. That is wild to me that Kevin Spacey gets a note or gets information passed on so that he understands that the royal family or the king has his support. Support for what? We understand what the charges are against Kevin Spacey. We understand what it means to harm children allegedly. We understand what it and in those kinds of ways. It wasn't him being a neglectful parent. It was apparently him being a kind of predator that, you know, you better not ever go to cell block 1, as Kendrick said in his, you know, They Not Like Us song, right? Kevin Spacey better not ever go to cell block 1, because we understand if you don't, what happens to people who harm children. That is prison justice. So when he sees the inside of a prison around his misdeeds against children, allegedly, then, you know, great harm happens to people who do these things, and prisoners understand that they do these things, so that, you know, the prison justice is real. And so why would King Charles be putting out support for Kevin Spacey? Why would he feel a need to send out a note, right? Thank you guys. I don't know why this chat is so slow. Novi, I am Meghan Markle. Gwen Daniel, I am Meghan Markle. Fatima, I am Meghan Markle. Absolutely. I'll tell you who I am not. I am not Kevin Spacey. I do not roll with people who harm children. I can't imagine sending a letter of support to someone allegedly who did harm to the helpless. You know, when it comes to, and, you know, I know we omit adults a lot, but when it comes to the elderly, the, you know, children, animals, people who, and when I say elderly, I mean people not who are elderly, but people who cannot defend themselves, the defenseless. When it comes to the defenseless out here in this world, I have all the smoke. And so while you're out here sending letters of support and your boy is out here, you know, I thought, you know, and I'm going to say his name just for, you know, not for you guys to go take a look. I didn't watch the entire episode. I watched a clip around Piers, right? Talking to Kevin Spacey about his issues in King Charles, and he pushed him a bit around asking about the support, like Prince Charles sending support. And so you're like, if Piers Morgan is King Charles's friend, who is his enemy? Like, he was out here saying, who I know. I know who said the R word. I know who the royal racist allegedly is. Really, like, so he's outing allegedly King Charles and Kate Middleton. So this is your friend. Like, I believe that Piers knows a whole lot about these situations, and perhaps that is why Rupert Murdoch continuously supports him, right? I'm just now seeing Ingrid saying, hello, Professor Zenzi. Hello, Ingrid. That's how slow my side of the chat is. So, yeah, so it is wild out here. It is. Thank you so much for the beautiful emojis. And so, like, I'm just out here like, what in the world? Piers Morgan, and again, we're gonna get to this, but Piers Morgan is your friend? He is not your friend, darling. Like, darling Charles, darling King, as he says to his son, darling boy, right? That is not your friend. Like, if Piers Morgan is his friend, he is no Idris Elba. He's no Serena Williams. He is no, Oprah, if you will. We understand Oprah was doing at least yoga with Meghan's mom because she's a peer of Doria, although she's a little bit older, I think, maybe 5 years or so, something like that. 3 to 5 years older than Doria, right? Or Mama Doria. But like, King Charles is out here really thinking that that Piers Morgan is his friend. Let me change slides for a second. See if get the transition. So yeah, who are your friends? Is it, do you really believe that that's your friend? Because I just don't see it. I don't see it, that he's out here like doing whatever he needs to do in the media. I think perhaps, guys, tell me if I'm being silly. I think perhaps Piers holds out a little bit of hope that one day in the future, perhaps if he does enough harm, or if he does it just enough, that our Princess Duchess will say something to him. I think that he holds out a little bit of hope, and every once in a while we'll see him out here wilding, if you will, and saying and doing inappropriate things to perhaps get the Duchess's attention. That's what I think. I think maybe, he wants Meghan's attention, so he's going to feed just enough information so that he can get that, right? And so, yeah, so Idris Elba, he supports Meghan. We understand that he was the DJ at the wedding. Thank you so much, April May. I am Princess Henry Mountbatten Windsor, Duchess of Sussex, Nigerian Princess. Amen, right? Amen. And yeah, so we're out here like watching all of these people. Idris Elba, who DJ'd the wedding, and who, we saw him speaking out in favor of the Duchess. And then we also saw Oprah, right? Oprah, media mogul, right? Oprah Winfrey conducted a groundbreaking interview with Meghan and Harry, giving them a platform to share their story. Her support has been crucial to helping them bring their truth to light. When Oprah reflected on said interview, she said, I think that things that Meghan shared were very powerful, and I think it was courageous of her to be so open and vulnerable. Her willingness to speak out is a testament to her strength and determination to bring about change. And that was from CBS News. So, Oprah couldn't be out here saying, yeah, I have a standing yoga appointment with her mom tomorrow. But we understand when Oprah made that gesture towards Doria to engage in yoga, we understand that when Oprah went to the wedding, that she may not be Meghan's friend. She likely is, though, Meghan's mama's friend. She likely is, though, Mama Doria's friend. And if she isn't Doria's friend, and we can imagine that, we also understand that she is putting a protective blanket around. When she asked Meghan, or however, when the interview happened, she understood what the impact was going to be. When she conducted the interview, she understood what the impact was going to be. How can I help? How can I help? And so when Meghan went to Oprah and Oprah conducted the interview, the entire world was able to see. Like, it stopped the world, that interview. It stopped the world, and it allowed us to have a view into the parts of Meghan and Harry's life that we suspected, that had been previously unconfirmed. And not only that, when Oprah was like, the what? When she was talking about the things around Prince Archie's skin, and they held some things back, like, no, Harry was like, no, I won't reveal that around who said it. Now, Harry might not, but Piers Morgan didn't have a problem at all revealing that it was allegedly, King Charles now and the Princess of Wales. And look how good the Sussex Squad, look how good we are. Look at us, right? God is good, as they say all the time, right? So look at us out here still being concerned, at least for her health and welfare. Even despite all of the things that have happened to our Princess Duchess, we are still out here supporting our girl, right? And so, yeah, so Oprah conducted that interview, and it shook the world. It turned everything upside down. And I remember the reporting before the interview happened, and the reporting from my memory was like, oh, this interview is not going to be anything. Only a few people are going to watch. And then the numbers come in. And then, the clips are out. And then and everybody, it was a water cooler conversation. And in fact, it was a watershed moment. And it allowed for Harry and Meghan's truth to come out. And some of those things that they talked about, these are the reasons that the media and King Charles are upset with Meghan. But the thing about that, and Harry, that gets to me is, you don't mind the person being victimized. You don't mind the victimization portion, allegedly. That's what it looks like to me. I can harm you, but don't talk about it. Don't talk about the things that have happened. Because when you speak about those things, to me, that's the harmful part. It is not all of the misdeeds that were done to you. It is not all of the misdeeds that were done around your child. It is not, the concern. Like, dude, what are you concerned about? Why do you care? So you're concerned about how dark he might get. You're not like, you're concerned about his blackness. And so that thing around his skin tells you very clearly that it was the R word. We don't want dark babies, because if we do, then what does that say about us? Then Archie's going to have also exotic blood like his mother. Doria's his grandmother. Right? His mother's 43% Nigerian. No, you didn't know it then. But you think that somehow harms you? That the child is protected by his melanin from the sun, right? He's got melanin. He's going to be protected. His hair is going to be curlier, most likely. And you're concerned about that? What? What does that say about you, that you're concerned about that, and you're not concerned about your brother? You're not concerned about the things that happened with Prince Andrew, and that you would rather, because you can talk to the media about the people that you want for the media to shine a light on. You have a choice. And you choose the one person. Isn't it interesting that you say, oh, no, it's not the R word. Who has been the most targeted person in that family up until now? Explain it to me like I am a third grader. No. Explain it to me like I am a kindergartner. Third graders are pretty smart. Why is it not the R word? Why is it not that? When she gets the most targeted hate against her for breathing. Right? What? Drake, we're not dumb. We know what we see. We know what we hear. We know what we feel. We know all of that. We understand the way that the targeted media makes us feel. And it feels harmful to us. The conversations that you have around the Duchess's skin, the conversations that you have around the baby being, and the baby's blood and her blood being exotic, we didn't ever see you speak back. We saw Prince Harry, and what did you do when Prince Harry spoke out against in his letter? Oh, you took that down. We can't stand for that. We can't have Harry talking back. Oh, it's a natural thing that... No, it ain't. No, it's not. We're not dumb. So you show me your website and then you show me your values. You took that down, right? On your website, what does it say about your brother? What does it say about... And what does it say about the Duchess? Did you speak up for Meghan? Did you speak up for Harry? What did you do in defense of them? How is he your darling boy? How is she your darling girl? Well, you haven't been accused of saying that. I am Princess Meghan. Thank you so much. Hi, Sharon. Yeah. Has he been accused of... I remember early on in that relationship between Prince Charles and Meghan, I remember it being said that he really liked her. He liked that she was smart. He liked that she could hold a conversation, that she knew things, and that they had had a good time when they had, I think it was dinner. They had a really good time at dinner, and he enjoyed the conversation with her, right? And what did she do? She was too much like Princess Diana in that the media loves her. So what do? Oh, well, we have this contract with the media. Even if it's not written, we have an unwritten contract with the media that says we feed you information. Doesn't matter if it's true, because it's like a rap battle. Information ain't got to be true. Who has the best slime, if you will, right? And so I will slime her. We will continuously slime her for 1,500, 2,000 days. And we will see what effect it has. What effect would sliming anybody have by not one newspaper, not by one media outlet, by tens of media outlets, hundreds of media outlets all around the world? Slime people like that, day after day, minute after minute, right? Every day you can go out there and see articles upon articles about our Duchess. Lies upon lies upon lies. But you know what? The interesting thing is the truth will out. We ain't worried about it because we understand that eventually the truth will out. And the Sussex Squad, you didn't count on us. We keep receipts. And what else do we keep? We keep our eyes also targeted on, even though we don't really talk about it much, but we see your relationships. We see your friendships. And when the information is fed to us, even indirectly, and we go and say, okay, let me get a little bit more information because this was interesting that Piers said these things about you. And why did Piers push so hard? With Kevin Spacey allegedly around finding out that King Charles, supported him. What was he also doing? He's doing some work for the squad, right? In my mind, I think that there's he thinks that there's a maybe, I'm going to say 2%, 1 in 50 chance that eventually the Duchess will talk to him again if he does enough work. And so what has Piers Morgan done over the last couple of years, right? He has outed the so-called royal racist, allegedly, and now he is outing King Charles around sending Kevin Spacey words of affirmation, via a surrogate. Allegedly. That's wild. Just those couple of pieces of information would be enough to take down a normal human being. Dude, really? You know what he did? And then there's also the information that allegedly is out there around King Charles's misdeeds. So we're looking at Meghan's friends today, right? And we're looking at what her friends say about her. If Piers Morgan is a kind of friend, because we know he hangs out with your wife, and we know how much you love her, if he's a friend of yours, you think dang, you better keep your enemies closer, because I don't understand how Piers Morgan is a friend if he's out here wilding out. Like, Nick Cannon called Piers Morgan because he's wilding out. He understands the impact. He understands that certain media outlets will pick this story up. He understands that vloggers and bloggers will pick this story up, and they will go to peer-reviewed, not Pierce-reviewed, peer-reviewed sources to find out what part of this information is true. And if it is true, and if it is accurate, then what can be done? What can be done? Are you making the royal family, are you making, even more than that, the monarchy itself, are you improving its standing? Are you improving its standing in the world, King Charles? And if you are not, we already heard that campaign, right around the time Queen Elizabeth was sick, around like, we don't want King Charles, let us just appoint or put William in as regent. And so what does this say about allegedly a kingdom who has a monarch who sends Kevin Spacey allegedly a note about his condolences or his concerns around his charges? What did that note say? Hope you win this one. Rooting for you. Like, we understand, like, do we understand the charges? Do we understand what he did? Yeah, some of the charges were dropped, but the more heinous ones, you better not ever go to cell block 1, right? The more heinous ones against children, allegedly. And I'm sending a note. Yeah, I'm sending a note, but that note ain't gonna say what you think it's gonna say. It's gonna say what it should say. It's gonna say, you better not ever go to cell block 1. You better not ever show your face around kids. You better not ever. Like, a supportive letter? Right? Hello, Mary. Hello, Mama Jean. Yeah, so he's out here wilding and sending letters. Everything that's done in the dark, eventually comes to light. So if you are sending a surrogate and not doing it yourself, even if you make the phone call yourself, like, how is this going to be a secret? It can't be, because you've, number one, involved another person, a third party. And even if it's you and Kevin Spacey, allegedly, Kevin Spacey has a recording device. Kevin Spacey's phone is a recording device. How does the message get translated to you, right? So when people ask for public information around certain things, around what the king does, we want, we want a release of certain information around King Charles's alleged note that he sent to to Kevin Spacey. What happens then? When an information request is sent. I don't live in the UK, so I can't say, specifically. But the fact that your boy, Piers said these things, your friend, you think you have a contract with the media. Your contract with the media depends on what the media feels like doing. It is not a real contract. And as soon as the media feels like they can have a bigger story, they will do that. They're not just sharks against the Duchess. They will eat you too, indiscriminately, if you don't do certain things. And they might do it just because they feel like it, because Piers didn't have to do what he did. He didn't have to push Kevin Spacey to the point of saying, like, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? These are not his exact words though, right? Is it true? What did you get a notification? What did Prince Charles, what did he say? What did he say? Thank you so much, Mama Jane. Oh, Connie. Oh, wait a second. Connie said, she's like, thank you so much, Mama Jane. I really appreciate that. So Charles is out here. I love these cute little animals. So Charles is out here wilding with his buddy. Dang, like, if you think he's your friend, We need, like, I know I always fancied myself as Left Eye from TLC. And Sylvia Fielder, thank you so much. Wow, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys. Mary Mann says, 3 cheers for Mama Jane. Yes. If he's out here and he's thinking that's his friend, like, what about your friend? Right? Are they gonna be around? Like, I always thought I was Left Eye. Like, and that was tomorrow's episode. But like, for this one, we're talking about yay. Thank you so much. That is so cute. But we're talking about King. Like, if this is your friend, if Piers Morgan, he comes and eats at your house, he sits at your dinner table, and he outs you like that on TV. Like, he didn't out him to, like, he didn't whisper. You guys remember the game, the telephone game? I used to play that with 7th graders, and to try to see if they could get the message all the way through, you know. And like most of us have played that as a kid, where you whisper, say there's a line of 5 people or 10 people, you whisper something in one person's ear, and then the way it gets translated when it gets back to you. But he didn't do that. He directly transmitted via television information around King Charles. Like, dude, he sent a note to, he had one of his surrogates. Like, what? What part of your tax money in the UK do you want used for sending notifications via surrogates to Kevin Spacey? So what does that mean exactly? What does that mean when you have a note transmitted to support somebody who would be taken down, allegedly, on cell block 1? We love children. We love children, right? And so how is it, if this is true, if it's to be believed, and personally I do, that this happened, how do you justify it? What is the justification? Alexa, pause the music. What is the justification? I don't know. Like, how do you justify it? Can you? Because I don't see how you do. Can I? I mean, I don't see how anybody can justify sending information to Kevin Spacey, understanding what he has been charged with. I'm just sort of like, I'm taken aback in this moment, right? I am just like, what? So you send that information to him, right? And he's supposed to do what? Like, he's supposed to understand that he has the support of the kingdom? Does Kevin Spacey have the support of the kingdom when King Charles sends a note or sends a surrogate to tell him that? Like, does he have the support of the kingdom? And who are his friends? Who are King Charles's friends? That if we take a sample, right? We know about randomized samples, right? If we took a randomized sample of, let's say, 10 of Meghan Markle's friends, and then we took a randomized sample, and let's say from Meghan's friends, we pick sample 1, 7, and 8. You know, we draw some straws, and those are the numbers that come up. And we take a sample of King Charles's friends, and the samples come up as 3, 7, and 10. Who are numbers 3, 7, and 10 for King Charles? And what do they have in common? They not like us. They not like us, right? What do they have in common? Are they out here wilding too? So when we see Meghan's friends and we see Meghan's friends speak out in support of the Duchess, we see them speak out in support of the princess. And it's not just that they're speaking out in support. We see who they are and what they represent to us too. Right? When we see an Oprah who says, come on over and I'm going to do this interview with you. I don't know that there was a strategy session that happened. I can believe that there was, at least with Meghan's team, and that I believe that, Oprah supports the Duchess. I believe that with my whole heart. Who's supporting the king? I believe Idris is supporting the Duchess. Actor, famous actor, wonderful person in a lot of ways. Jameela Jamil, Serena Williams, legends in their own right, supporting the Duchess. We see some of the greatest feminists on the planet who are still alive supporting the Duchess. We see, people who are some of the greatest advocates on the planet out here supporting the Duchess. Who will speak for King Charles? Who is speaking out in favor of the king? I don't know. Kevin Spacey? Prince Andrew? Show me your spouse and I'll show you who you are. Who is his spouse? I am going to mentor this lovely young woman. I will help her. Right? I will mentor Diana. Let me take her under my wing, allegedly. Show me your friends. Show me the people that you vibe with. Show me the people that you're having conversations with. And I'll show you who you are. These are the people you want to keep close. The mentor of Princess Diana and a whole lot of other things, right? Who is your wife? What has she done? I'll wait. Did she mentor Princess Diana? Who are you? What did you do when you had a chance to protect her, allegedly, with respect to security? And let's say that you failed at that. Did you also fail your son when you had a chance to protect him with his security? You are also someone's friend, King Charles. Are you a friend to your daughter-in-law? Are you a friend to your grandson? Are you a friend to your granddaughter? Lily, named after Aunt Lily, and the Queen, right? Nicknamed Lilibet, right? Diana. Are you a friend to your grandchildren? Are you, King Charles, a friend to your darling boy, allegedly? Show me your deeds. What is the evidence that you are? Is there any evidence out there? I'll wait. Because who you are and who you surround yourself with, it tells us everything we need to know. You married a woman who did A, B, C, D, E. Did your wife allegedly harm your children's mother in any way? And how do you look at that child once you marry the mistress? And not just the mistress, the person who mentored this vulnerable young woman. That's who you got? And then, oh, yes, I see, right, Mama Jane? Yes, I see. Like, he really wants to see the children. Tell me about my grandma. Archie is old enough to ask those questions. What was my grandmother like? Did you love my grandmother? What's your favorite memory of my grandma? What did you guys used to do together? What was her favorite food? How'd you hang out? Did you play games? What do you say when asked by this little boy about his grandmother? What do you say? Do you love her? Did you love her ever? I don't know the answer to that. But I think your friendships can provide a kind of answer with respect to that, in my opinion, right? Because like when you're hanging out with these people, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Are you talking about conquests? I remember that time when oh yeah, that one was a real But you've got grandchildren, and they're going to, if you live long enough, thank you so much. Thank you. These things are so adorable. Paulette, thank you. Respect. Do we ask these? Yes, thank you. Do we ask these questions of our, okay, let's just for a minute, just imagine. I got a friend who has a friend even, right? Who has been accused of any of these things. My friend who has a friend, like, what you hanging out with them for? I heard you're hanging out with ABCD. Like, don't you know what they've been accused of? They better not ever go to cell block 1. Why you hanging out with them? What's up with you? Is my question. What's up with you that you think is cool to hang out with this person? Children who live next door. I missed that. Oh, I'm sorry. There's no security, no home where the kid should stay. Yes. Like, yeah, I'm trying to keep it real. Like, Charles shows pictures with, yes, he does, with Louis and Charlotte. I support the Duchess all the way. That's why Charles keeps sucking in people like David Beckham, Kevin Spacey, Katy Perry, and so on. Yes, like, what do you say? Like, when Meghan, I'm going to say Mama Doria is around those kids a whole lot. She's being raised in a lot of ways by 3 people. She's got 3 parents. Mama Doria, and the kids understand who's at the top of the chain. The kids do. It's been explained to me by a 3-year-old. Grandma's the head of everybody. You're the head of me. So I know my hierarchy in things when it comes to kids. And kids will tell you when they're 2 or 3 years old if you don't understand that they understand. Mama Doria is the head of the family. What she says is the most significant thing. Mama Doria and Princess Diana are peers in that they are the grandmothers. And if those kids love Mama Doria, do not think for a second that they don't have a kind of parallel love that they have for Princess Diana in their minds. Like, the love is in their hearts, but in their imaginations. I remember being a little kid and having 2 grandmothers that I loved as deeply as I've ever loved anybody, right? And I remember going from my maternal grandmother's house to my paternal grandmother's house and feeling like, oh my goodness, gosh, I love her the same. I love her so much. Is my other grandma going to get jealous? What happens when they both come in the same room? Which one do I listen to? I remember having these thoughts as little kids and then being jealous because I didn't have a great grandmother, thinking, if only I had a great grandmother, I would probably love them even more than I love my grandma, right? When I had met a friend who had a great grandmother, was extremely jealous. Can you imagine potentially the jealousy they feel around not being able to have been loved by their other grandmother. And when they find out, and they will, and they may have, and maybe Archie may have by now, I don't know, because kids talk. Your grandpa didn't love, I can imagine what kids say. Your grandpa, my mom said your grandpa didn't love your grandma. What? Yes, kids that 5 years old talk, and they make a lot of sense. And they carry these messages to other people. my remember that old commercial? My mother said she can't believe you wore white to your wedding. The kids like carrying messages. And so, but when those babies sit around and think about what they missed by not having a grandmother, they are going to go through a cycle of grief, I imagine, around what they missed out on. And she is pictured everywhere. Why didn't she ever get to hold me? And to whom are they going to look? To whom are they going to ask questions? Like what? And when they get to be teenagers, or even before, you don't even have to be a teenager. When they get to be about 8 or 9, honestly, they will ask serious questions around, I understand that this didn't happen for grandma. Grandpa, why didn't you make sure? Watch. I mean, we won't get to see it. That's why Charles keeps sucking in people like, okay, I said that. King Charles is a good father of the Duke of King Charles, as a godfather of the Duke of Westminster, didn't attend his wedding. He was probably asked not to bring a side piece. I mean, can you imagine? Like, when you have your grandchildren and they find out, are they going to say, I know that was the kid I was. Nope, ain't doing it. Go ahead and, I got spanked. Go ahead and whoop me, because I'm not going. I'm not going to, and then I'm going to get in trouble for saying things that you think are inappropriate, Ma. Just because I'm that kid. I'm not a bad kid. But I'm a kid who is going to say things because I'm a curious kid, and you're not going to always like it, and I'm going to be chastised when I get home and get told about saying out of grown folks' business or whatever it is. And at the same time, I'm a curious kid. You raised me to be smart. I said it respectfully as you can, but you can imagine these kids are going to be asking these questions of their grandfather. And so then what? Queen Charles didn't even show his own children any love. And I think most grandparents understand when they have grandchildren, they get another chance, right? You get the chance to be the doting, the one who doesn't have to say, do your homework. The one who gets to bring, candy and junk food and go home, right? You get to like sit kiddos on your knee and tell them stories about when you were a kid and about QE2 and your papa. They want those things. And then when they find out that this is what happened to their grandma, it's a wrap. And, again, I'm going to make a parallel to Kendrick, even though, I hate you like I'm young. Like, when kids hate you, they don't have a lot of capacity for nuance. It is either right or it is wrong. They think in very black and white terms. I hate you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. We can put both of those things together, right? And so we can imagine when they get to be about 9 or 10, even in just a few years, if King Charles, and if he doesn't, they'll be asking these questions of their parents. And then if they're not satisfactorily answered, and they won't be answered satisfactorily likely the first time, because the questions don't necessarily go away. They grow with us. Like, okay, Mom, I believe this thing while I'm 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Yep. Put my pillow under the tooth. Put my tooth under the pillow. How big is your tooth? Put my tooth under the pillow. And then what happens, right? And so you get asked that question again. Well, what happened to grandma? I answered that when you were 7. I know, but I want to know now. I'm not 7. I'm 7 plus 3. I'm 7 plus 7. I'm 7 plus 9. I want to know, and who protected her and why? And so, these questions are coming and they are legitimate. And so, So you have a whole lot of things converging, right? Who are your friends? And what do they say about you? When we look to our left and we look to our right, and when we look at our friend groups, even like some family members that we hang out with, do we all hang out with family members who are sus? I don't. If I have a sus family member, I have always been that kid. Again, my poor mother. I've always been that kid to ask questions. You raise me to think. I know I'm not trying to be disrespectful, and I want to know. This person, why are they coming around if they did A, B, C, D, E, right? And so these are serious questions. What does it say about us when we have people around us who harm children? And we send a note a note to them to say, I'm sorry this is happening to you, or I'm rooting for you, or whatever that thing is. Like, mine would be some different words, very different, some adjectives, some nouns, some verbs about what should happen. It would not be, I hope this thing works out for you when you're facing these kinds of charges, and especially if I'm in a position of power, because when you're in a position of power, you are speaking for the institution when you are speaking words, regardless, especially if somehow you're making it public. And by public, I mean you're involving a third party. He's not sitting in a room with you, and you understand that there are no cameras or no recording devices. And even if there are not, like, you are passing this energy on to him that he now has control over. He gets to choose. And he didn't say, no comment. And so what does that say when somebody, you've given him whatever you've given him, your words of condolences or your words of support so you can get through this? Are you speaking for the monarchy? Are you speaking as a private person? Are those things the same? Do they converge? I would say they converge. Because, I mean, when I think, back to, or I think about President Biden, the positions he's in, imagine him being in a kind of parallel position. His may be higher, but his isn't permanent. So he has a parallel position. Imagine him sending a note like that to Kevin Spacey, or to, for the people in the U.S. too, who we see facing charges now, Sean Diddy Combs. Imagine we get the word in the U.S. that President Biden is out here sending words of support to Sean Combs, or R. Kelly, or, if he sent them to Jeffrey Epstein, or like whoever the latest scumbag allegedly is. If we understand that our president is sending messages of support to these people, what do we do? Does he represent us as the head of state? I think he does. And I think even in his private actions, he has to be careful. Gwen Daniel says, really hope Harry and Meghan keep their beautiful kids away from Charles and the rest. Absolutely. I don't think Karen says, Mary says, absolutely. Karen says, I don't think they want Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet Diana over there because they're going to be asking a lot of questions. I absolutely agree. Because I'm sure all of you remember what you were like when you were kids. How many times did you get in trouble for asking inappropriate questions, or even carrying messages that were not supposed to be carried? Like, that was said in this house. You do not take the things that we say out of, I mean, that's what my mom would say. Things that, whatever. Like, and I would do whatever I did, but, again, that commercial, my mom said, she can't believe you wore white. I think it was Tide or something. Or Bleach, Clorox. It was one of them. But it was around that. And so, who are your friends, King Charles? Who are your friends, Duchess Meghan? And we've illuminated some of them. And the people that are in Meghan's corner, right? The people who are in Meghan's corner are amazing people. They mirror the Duchess in a lot of ways, because aren't our friends often like us in a lot of ways? We talk about similar subjects. We often have the same political views. We often have the same food views. We share values when we are in friendships. What are the values and We're going to talk about more people tomorrow with respect to the king and his friendships. Like they're a bit sus, allegedly. They're like, ooh, they're very prickly in my opinion. And so who will stand for Meghan? I believe Oprah stood for Meghan when she had that interview. I believe that with my whole heart. I believe that Idris Elba did. I believe that, all of the people that we've talked about, right? I believe if Tupac were alive, he would be standing for Meghan. And so we talked about Stormzy's anthem, right? And so when he said, if you told someone to write a list as to why they hate Meghan Markle, the list is rubbish. Meghan is a sweet woman and she's a lovely woman. She does her thing. I ain't heard her say nothing crazy, and they just hate her. They hate her because of her shine. They want her to, what did they ask her to do? Can you be 50% less? You can't, be 50% in and 50% out. But can you be 50% less? Can you do that, that shine thing you do? Even the 50% shine would be as bright as that lighthouse. How do you tell someone to dim their shine? How do you do that without diminishing them? Is that possible? Would Tyler Perry have been out here providing Meghan shelter and security when they moved to the US if he hadn't believed that she was a wonderful person? He saw what happened with the sharks swarming all around her. He was the lighthouse. Like we are the lighthouse. Tyler Perry was the lighthouse for Meghan. It is my thesis that Oprah Winfrey was a lighthouse for Meghan. She allowed for Meghan's story to be told, right? She allowed for Meghan to speak her truth in her own words. And I don't care how many hours on the cut room floor, right? If Oprah feels like putting more out, I'm sure she will. Priyanka Chopra. Meg is a person who believes in the power of humanity. She has a heart of gold and is a humanitarian. Show me your friend's values. What are Priyanka's values? If she wasn't valuing being a humanitarian, would she really be talking about it? But what she's telling us is that she sees these things in the Duchess. She understands this is who the Duchess is, who the princess is, and I just should start calling her the queen. Who Queen Meghan is. She understands these things because in everything she is and she does, she shows us that map. Like, this is what we do. If you want to be, this and that and the other, do this. If you want a new dog, why not go to a rescue mission? That dog might someday be riding in the car with the queen. Look at this. Look at Guy. Look at him go. Like a rescue pup and the queen was loving on that baby, right? The queen's loving on that puppy. She wouldn't have had him all up in the car with her if she didn't value Meghan, if she didn't value the dog, if she didn't. And so Meghan shined a light on that particular rescue mission when Guy was in the car with Queen Elizabeth. They got a whole light shown upon them, and it was beautiful. It was the light, the goodness blinded me. It was so powerful from our Duchess. This is who she is, and this is who we are because we support her, because these are the allies that we align ourselves with. We align ourselves with the Duchess, with the Queen, because we love her. We love what she does. We love what she represents. We saw that again in Idris when he said Meghan has faced an incredible amount of unfair treatment, but she handles it with such grace and dignity. We need to support her and stand against this injustice. We absolutely do, and we absolutely support her in the Sussex Squad. Shout out to Tina and Michelle. We support her because we understand it, we see it, and it harms us. Like that vicarious trauma that we get as a result of watching all the crap they do to the Duchess, it also affects us. And that's why sometimes we have to do what we do, right? And, Oprah, when she talked about the things that Meghan shared, I think the things Meghan shared were very powerful. I think it was courageous of her to be so open and vulnerable. Her willingness to speak out is a testament to her strength and determination to bring about change. Yes, all of those things are true. And why should she have to? All she did was marry a man. And you don't like her and you make up all of these lies? So that what? So that they can get a divorce, so that she will break? What is your goal? And do you guys know Melissa Murray? She's one of my favorite people. She is an attorney and she supports the Duchess, right? I saw her on MSNBC one time and she had a photograph of Meghan. I'll have to try and find that one in particular. She has a photograph of Meghan in her office up on her top shelf. And she's a commentator and she's an attorney, like brilliant. And she's a member of the Squad who's been a staunch advocate for Meghan. Melissa said, Meghan's experience is not unique. It's emblematic of the challenges many women of color face in the public eye. We need to support and uplift her, just as we would any woman facing such scrutiny. Her resilience is a testament to the strength that lies within us all. Absolutely true. And simultaneously, why does she have to be resilient? She has to be resilient against you guys. She has to be resilient against the hate that, not you guys, of course, you know I don't mean you, but she has to be resilient against the targeted hate campaign that she has to deal with on a daily basis. It's just terrible, right? And so, and then Meghan met with Gloria Steinem. For some reason, my slides are not transitioning, and I don't know why. But Meghan met with Gloria Steinem, and I thought that was such a beautiful meeting, right? And Gloria Steinem is a true OG, right? Meghan's meeting with Gloria Steinem was a powerful moment of connection between two strong women committed to gender equality and social justice. Gloria Steinem's influence on Meghan is profound, reflecting their shared values and mutual respect. In a digital age where people are quick to judge, it's empowering to have a conversation with someone who understands the importance of compassion and activism. Gloria Steinem's legacy and her advocacy for women's rights continue to inspire me, says Meghan. Gloria Steinem has been a trailblazer in the feminist movement, and her impact on Meghan is evident in their shared commitment to creating a more just and equal world. So Gloria, like I said, Gloria Steinem is the OG, and Gloria Steinem has been doing this work for, at least since the 60s, maybe late 50s, but definitely the 60s. She was out there and she was speaking with some of the greatest leaders of that time period, speaking to women's rights, speaking around civil rights. And she and Jane Fonda are contemporaries, right? And so it is amazing the hate that they have put out there around our Duchess, and the fact that how y'all out here hating on her when y'all doing what y'all doing. You out here allegedly hanging out with creeps and sending notices or notes to creeps, and the media is not focusing on that. Can you imagine if Meghan sent, let's imagine this parallel. We're talking about Meghan's friends. Imagine if Meghan sent a letter to Diddy in support of him. Imagine if Meghan used a surrogate to tell R. Kelly, I'm rooting for you. I hope that this works out for you. Imagine, like, the end, right? The end. Imagine any public figure almost doing that same thing, right? I'm supporting you. There would be, there already is nonstop coverage of BM out there by the British media. There's nonstop BM coverage of Meghan for breathing. But if they had some real, I don't want to say that word, if they had some real evidence against the Duchess, can you imagine if they saw something that was truly awful that she had been doing? what would they do? And yet, when the king is accused of and is exposed by his boy, supposed to be his friend allegedly, for doing this using a surrogate to send information, crickets. I'm just like, what? Crickets. Meghan rode on a flight that was not commercial. Uproar, uproar, uproar. Alarm, 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 alarm. William does the same thing. Right? Nothing. He does the same thing via helicopter every time he goes out, almost. Allegedly, or often when he goes out. Crickets. Meghan's mental health is being under fire, and she, a friend sends her their plane. Uproar, uproar, alarm, 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 right? So we understand that things are not equal when it comes to our Duchess. And as a result, she faces so much more scrutiny. I'm just seeing this, it's only partially up there. Yes, Oprah gave Princess Meghan the platform to have a voice and tell her story. So when I see the rest, I'll, yeah, but when it comes to our Duchess, the things that she does that are positive are, used as are politicized and weaponized against her for profit. Princess Diana went through the same thing. And we never again, right? Tell her story. Okay, I'm going to reread this. Yes, Oprah gave Princess Meghan the platform to have a voice and tell her story. It was on purpose to help, to great people and to show the beast we see in you, and we protect them. Oprah was a G. Oprah is a G. She was out here protecting and defending our Duchess against the sharks. I'm sure she said, what can I do? We know, people, a lot of us know that Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey are friends. Tyler Perry shows have been on the Oprah Winfrey Network for a long time, right? And they're two billionaires who have shared values and hang out. And so, we understand that Tyler Perry is a little bit, Lily's godfather. So these people intersect. They intersect along values and around values too. Because we understand that Tyler Perry said, stay in my home as long as you want. Don't pay for anything, and I got you with respect to security too. They didn't have much of anything, right? Yes, same as Tyler Perry, exactly. And so these people came to literally, when she's out here in this boat with Harry and her baby, came to her defense. They were the lighthouse in the storm. Tyler Perry was the lighthouse in the storm when Meghan was out here suffering. Hello at Go Taste and See. So that is what we need to be. And that's who we are too. We are, as Barack Obama said, we are the change that we want to see in the world. And we in the Sussex Squad can say, we are the lighthouse in the storm. And again, I think that, Piers, again, his last name, thinks that there's about a 2% chance, 1 in 50, that if I do some of this, perhaps one day, you will see what I did for you and acknowledge it and reward me by, because he's asked her to be on his show. What does he want? He wants a hug. Allegedly, in my mind. But when he's out here revealing that the king is sending well wishes or condolences or support, let's just say support, allegedly, to Kevin Spacey, that's enough. That was already enough, right? Piers, you did your job. You did your job for the squad, if you will. So when he's out here again revealing, the Dutch copy of Spare said whatever it said and revealed stuff. Yeah, it said that it's King Charles and it's Kate Middleton. Like, dude, who are you working for? I thought you had a contract with King Charles. You're not supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be on Charles's side, allegedly. You're not supposed to be revealing things so that Meghan, like, it's like, it's gonna be all right. Like, it seems like he's sending signals to her every once in a while. I got you. I'm still here. I still want to be your friend, right? There was a lot of silent messages, yes, being sent to the beast in the UK. We got them. Imagine yourself or your family member or friends in that position when you want happen for you or your friends. Yes, they are out here like, they are out here sending. Piers wasn't slick. I'd be like, Piers, no cap. Like, you out here, like, who are you really working for? We know that you have a kind of obsession and it cost you your whole show and you're still out here allegedly sending silent messages. Thank you, Karen. Sending silent messages around our Duchess to let her know that, every once in a while you're going to reveal some real terrible stuff. And like, again, like, with respect to Kevin Spacey, you better not ever go to cell block 1, right? So what is Pierce's real agenda? Number one, he's nobody's friend. Clearly, he's not a friend of our Duchess, although, I think he still may pine for her, allegedly. Like, yeah. Did you see what I did, Meghan? Did you see what I did? Will you have coffee with me again? Will you have drinks with me again? Nah, I'm good, right? And like all of these things that he's revealing, and he's eager. He didn't just say it. He like pressed Kevin Spacey for the answer. Who is he aligned with? Pierce is aligned with himself. And you see that a lot with respect to the UK media. Like, are there any real alliances, and how are they really helping? Are they helping? Who are they helping? Because if you call, like, revealing this around the king helpful, what do you call it? Not helping? Like, dude, I don't want to be your friend. Like, and again, tomorrow when we get to what about your friends, it's going to be an interesting show. But with respect to what's happened so far, we see Meghan's friends. We see how the squad organically formed, right? It organically formed out of a need for us to be protective around her. For us to protect her, and by protecting her, we were also protecting ourselves. That's my opinion, that we formed because we saw the targeted hate campaign. And we're like, nah, not today, Satan, if you will. And, that's it. Like, we decided that with respect to Tina and Michelle and Tina, they were like, okay, what can we do? And they formed the squad, and we were all here like, yes, 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 yes. Is Pierce trying to get his squad card membership? Like, I don't know. Because by him doing that, it definitely draws a line in the sand around what he will and what he will not do. And it tells me that King Charles does not have an ally. Doesn't care. It doesn't matter if he, how many times Pierce has lunch or goes to an event at King Charles's residence with or without Camilla. It tells me that Pierce is allied to himself. And, what will he do for Meghan? He will lose his whole job. He will lose his whole job out here in these Sussex Squad streets around. She doesn't like me anymore, allegedly. No, I'm not a racist, allegedly, right? And then, like, the information that Pierce has put out here, in my opinion, has defined, in a lot of ways, the monarchy. So how can he be speaking for or in favor of Charles if he is revealing things around that are going to harm the monarchy? Because it is my belief that the things that he said are harmful for the monarchy, to the monarchy. And he's causing them to not have a lovely day, if you will. He's causing them to he's causing them to be impacted in a way by his words that they wouldn't want to be impacted. It's definitely a negative portrayal that he's putting out there in the media. And he's supposed to be one of the good ones for the monarchy. So, when we have, and then we have ourselves, we have people on the squad doing the opposite with respect to Meghan, right? I see Queen Charles again. Queen Charles, globetrotting to France and all over the world, and why cannot Pond make a stop over in Montecito or some other convenient meeting place in between? That is so true, Mary. Like, they have not, to my knowledge, they have not stopped anywhere at LAX or, there's an airport in Santa Barbara. We saw, we saw lots of coverage around Eugenie when she came to visit Prince Harry. But you have grandchildren and you have access and you have probably $1 trillion, who knows, in the billions or hundreds of billions in wealth and resources and property and everything else, right? You have not, to my knowledge, come to see your grandkids. And, if these questions are on Archie's mind right now, give it a year. Don't give it until when he turns 8, 7, 8-year-olds are so smart. Not that 6 and 5-year-olds aren't, right? 7, 8-year-olds are they're asking sometimes questions that are on because they hear their parents talking. They hear their parents talking, and when we have intelligent conversations around our kiddos, they mimic us. And their minds grow in a way that they can take in information better, and they're listening, they're sitting in corners, right, like a lot of us were. So imagine when Archie talks to Grandpa, about Grandma Diana. If these things are going to be hard now, what are they going to be like in 5 years? I am a whole, tween. I'm a whole tween, and we're beyond AI at that point, if you will. So what do we do to shore up our relationships with our grandkids? Do we do what the king does? Clearly not. How do we as grandparents, if we are, how do grandparents shore up their relationships with their grandkids? Not by avoiding them, not by not, seeing them. But, ultimately, it will be written about. It's his loss. It will be his loss with respect to whatever happens with those kiddos. And as a result of him not, or choosing to stay in the UK, he did do a whole trek over to, France, if you will. But I'm sure it could be a comfortable flight from the UK to Montecito, and the kinds of planes that they have. Come on, I'm sure they have a parallel to Air Force One that has living quarters and things of that nature, and you can sleep on the flight, if you will, right? And if you don't, I'm sure they do, but if they didn't, one of the people that they know, one of their friends in quotation marks, would surely loan them, buy them. We saw the Osama bin Laden's half-brother in the cash bags a few years ago. Can somebody pass me a couple million like that in some bags? Let me take that money. We saw, what did he need with that money, first of all? But you're friends with, and, no shade to Osama bin Laden's half-brother, but just the look of that, the fact that you're hanging out with Osama bin Laden's half-brother, even if he did nothing wrong, it just, the optics on that are not good. What about your friends, right? The optics on Prince Charles, King Charles, getting monies in bags for charity, right? Haha, we believe that, allegedly. And taking said money bags home, what do you do? How do you take that money to the bank? In bundles? I can't even, but what does that even look like? The Hamburglar, right? and your whole like Prince of Wales, we know you don't need that money. And then when your son decides, after all of the aggressions that happened to him, that my wife and I, we just want to step away and be half in, half out. You already asked her to be 50% of herself, but they can't be half in, half out. Now y'all can make that make sense. Marsha. Pierce is an opportunist and will be the first to drop all of the dirt on Chuck, Crow, Willie, and the rest. He's the kind of marsupial who weighed something, survived sinking Titanic on the back of a child. I missed part of that. Yes, like he is moneybags, like literally carrying money outside of, or from Osama bin Laden's half brother, which the money comes from the kingdom. So yeah, he's carrying this and gets caught, gets busted. So we understand that Osama bin Laden is one of the friends, or his brother, half brother, is one of the friends, right? We understand that Kevin Spacey, I'm sending some kind of support to. Like, who else are out here in the, like, amongst your friends? Again, if we took a poll, a randomized poll of the, let's say Meghan has 100 top supporters. Take her top 100 supporters and put them next to King Charles's top supporters, or friends, if you will, in quotation marks. And what are you going to get from either side? What are you got from Meghan? We understand you're going to get the best of the best out here. You want somebody handsome, you going to get him, Idris Elba. You want a rapper, you going to get him, Stormzy. You want a whole squad, you going to get about 1 million of them. You want, one of the legendary journalists of our times, you're going to get him, Oprah Winfrey. You want the championship tennis player, you're going to get her. You're going to get Priyanka Chopra. You're going to get just all of these legends out here who are also like legends in their field, but also who are known for their humanitarian work and who are known for helping people, if you will. And so that's what you're going to see on this side. And then what are you going to see on the other side? You're going to see, you're going to see Kevin Spacey, brilliant actor in his own right? Brilliant actor. But he better not ever go to cell block 1. Right? So you have him, and then you have brother of, and again, we're going to get into some more of these interesting characters and shine the light on them, right? Marsha says, Archie and Lilibet will be well informed on who they are and what has been said. Something full understanding they will be mentally okay and prepared. Yes, because they have a mama and a papa, right? Their mama and papa are out here doing things that they're supposed to be doing. Their mother and father are out here, being humanitarians. Their mother and father, like, they advocate for mental health. They advocate for whole, and I don't mean the brand, but foods that are whole and organic. They advocate for clothing brands that are owned by women. They advocate for, designers that are smaller, if you will. We see blue jean companies blow up that are tiny when Meghan wears a pair of jeans. We see coffee companies blow up when Meghan decides to invest. We see better, health. We see these blow up after Prince Harry and Princess Meghan decide to join forces and get mental health help around these things. And so what do we see on the other side? I'll wait. I don't want just crickets. Like, what do we see? Karen says, the expectation would have been for Prince Archie and the Princess Lilibet Diana be 50% of themselves like they expected of their parents. And that's brutal. How do you tell somebody turn down your lighthouse light? Like, turn down that light. Your shine is too bright. What is that? Like, how does that translate? Okay. How about I do 50%? I'll be 50% in, 50%. No. You need to work 100% of the time. But we want you to shine less. We don't want you, we want for you to be perceived as 50% less. How can you turn your 100% that you give us, like, what, give 50% less hugs? Like, support 50% less places like Grenfell Towers? Like, what do I do to be 50% less? What do you do with that information when someone tells you that? Let's see, Prince Harry and Princess Meghan ended it. Yes. Charles Parker Bowles learned from the best. His mother, who took expensive. Isn't that interesting that that's a family affair, allegedly, right? And like, do you know people? Let me think. If you know someone, put it in the chat in Hollywood who was 100% of themselves and became 50%. I wouldn't say R. Kelly. Like, he's like negative whatever percent, right? Who would have been like, we see people who are diminished by scandal often, right? And who try and make a comeback politically and in other ways. We might say, like political figures, once they are harmed in the media, sometimes by their own fault, they become, or they have 50% less influence on people that they had like previously. So I'm trying to think, like, who's some people might say like a Jay-Z, his career has been, oh, I got the perfect candidate. Drake. After the battle with Kendrick, Drake, his shine has been diminished by at least 50%. But what does that feel like to walk around and be diminished by 50%? Like, who am I supposed to be when you ask me not to do 50% less, but to be 50? So I smile half as much. How do you do that? What are the steps that you take to become 50% less? Like, I can't say, I don't know. Like, have any of you tried to diminish your shine for other people? I don't think, I think we try to say a rising tide lifts all boats. We don't say, yeah, like, don't do that thing that makes you, because everybody's not trying to shine like that. Your shine might be like this and my shine like, but to ask me to dim myself, to be less of who I am, I don't even know how to translate that into words. Like, I don't know how to translate that into my mind. If someone says, be 50% less smart, be 50% less kind, be 50% of who you are. I just, like, I'm at a loss for words around how you accomplish being 50% of, but you say some garbage stuff once in a while. Like, what is it that you have to do? And again, I would say that, like, whoever your friends are, show me your friends. Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Who will stand up for you at the end of the day? And I would say, very easily that when it comes to the Duchess and it comes to her friends, girl, keep your head up, because who is out here shining the light for you? Who is out here standing you? Who is out here, making sure that whatever they say, the Sussex Squad for sure, and others, so many others. Even if it doesn't get reported in the media, we understand who not only our allies are, we understand who our advocates are, who is working in a way and saying things that are positive with respect to Meghan. And Melissa, we understand, we have two who were like, nope, Angela, and Angela, when she was talking back to around Meghan, well, my view on Meghan is that not every, like, what? Can you please be coherent? You're not making any sense. Karen Warner says, spare is for Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet Diana to know the truth. Prince Harry and Princess Meghan made sure of that. That's why they are so angry. And imagine, absolutely, and imagine what's going to happen. Imagine what's going to happen when they come of age, right? Imagine and imagine this. Imagine what's going to happen when Meghan decides, right, to write her own book, right? When we get Meghan's book, we saw her podcast and she was very generous and very like, she was so laid back and so cool in that. She just went to all of these different people and had really uplifting conversations. But when she decides to bring it Like, for real, for real? Even if she brings it like Harry did, like, okay, we're gonna write this book, and maybe that's how we can be 50%, right? Because when Harry wrote his book, he got it all out on the cut room floor, right? Or on the his pages are all over the place. We understand that his actual book would have been double or triple if they had kept everything in it. And for the sake of the crown, for the sake of the monarch and the monarchy, Harry decided, you know what, guys? I'm not going to put that out there. I'm going to save this. I'm going to save some of that, right? And so the things that he didn't tell are allegedly so much more salacious and so much more traumatic than the things that he did tell, because Harry's story was a coming of age story, and it was about, him becoming a man, if you will. And he was writing a whole map for us too. And in between on that map, he told us a few salacious things. Like, and some of them were like the dog bowl incident, if you will, when his brother's like, let's just fight. I want to fight. And he's like, nah, man, I'm not 12. And 12-year-olds like to fight because they have all of these hormones that are happening in their bodies, and they're turning into young ladies and young men and, young people, if you will. And so, yeah, so you want to fight me? Like, you've got all this aggression allegedly. And so we understand that people who have that kind of aggression and go from 0 to, I want to fight you, I'm not the only person you're targeting, most likely. What's happening in your home if you want to fight me? Like, you want to beat me up. What does your house look like? What does your home look like? What do your friends look like? If you're telling me to do A, B, C, D, E, right? And all of these things are negative and nasty. Who are your friends? What are your friends doing when they hang out? We could go into depth around William and his friends. I'm not going to do that for the sake of this podcast. Maybe for another one, we'll open that up and say, hey, look at William's friends, if you will, and what kind of people are they? And so we see, again, Harry be unprotected and Meghan be unprotected, or look like they're unprotected largely. And then, what they didn't expect was for Idris Elba to speak out. They didn't expect for all of us to speak out. They definitely didn't expect a whole rapper to come out and say, hey, like, this is wrong. What has she done? Like, all the excuses that they give are trash. And again, to me, it is not unlike a radicalization. When you look at someone and you can't really point to any one specific thing that makes sense for the amount of hate that comes towards a person or toward a person, it doesn't make sense. You are radicalized. It is like, it is not unlike being targeted by a hate group, because that's what it becomes in the end. It doesn't make sense. When you align yourself with people who are radicalized in media and you're like, oh, I have those views, then that means also, like, if we hold a mirror up to ourselves and we say, well, who are the other people that are aligned with you in this fight? Are they Candace Owens, perhaps, allegedly? And I'm not a friend of Candace Owens by any means, right? And so if you're aligning yourself with somebody who has spewed for years hatred towards, about her people, if you will, then you might have a problem. You might have been radicalized. If you're aligning yourself with, and I could go down a whole list of a bunch of people who would call themselves conservatives, and not fiscal conservatives, people who would like to see this nation and other nations go back to a time when it was the grand old party, if you will. Like, what was happening when people were being subjected? If you're aligning yourself with people who seek to subject people, if you're aligning yourself with people who seek to take away people's rights, you might be radicalized. And so I think that lots of people who align themselves with that fight against her have definitely been. And when you pull yourself out of it for a minute and you start to think, wait a second, where else do I share these values with these people? Wait, okay, they align along the same lines as birtherism around Barack Obama. They align around things like Michelle Obama's body. They align around things like MAGA, allegedly, if you will. You know, that for me to diminish who you are as a person is perfectly fine. For me to diminish who Meghan is and take away her humanity so that I can do what? Replace her? Harry's not going to marry you. Then that's fine. You might just be radicalized, though, if you are aligning yourself with people who speak in a way that is, in a way that is radicalization, right? The things that they spew, not just around our Duchess, but the things that they spew around, you know, immigrants and xenophobia and all of these other things, like people. Like, what are your values? What are you saying? You want to take away DEI? You want to burn books? Like, is this what the people that you're aligning yourself with are saying? Not let's get more information about, let's have some genuine conversations. But no, let's take away these people's rights. Let's burn these books. Let's go back to a time where America was grander. You know, like I heard a congressperson, I forget his name. I should have, yeah, who said something about the black family was better under Jim Crow. What? Because they were married and they were together? Dude, call me divorced and single, because if I have to go back to a time when I had to fear lynch mobs allegedly, no thank you. Like, who are you? If that's okay with you. And so when you align yourself, lots of these people who are against the Duchess, I have found when I have had to do research, are trash. And by trash, I mean they have these conservative values around where people belong in the society. And no, you don't get to tell her where she belongs, because by telling her where she belongs, and not only because, but you're trying to tell me too. I don't think so. I will not go gently into that good night. So blank you and your whole family, right? Like, no, I'm not doing that. You don't get to push me back into a time where you think you were comfortable because you could sit atop a hill. Nobody, that hill didn't belong there. And if it did, it should have been a mountain like Rushmore, where everybody, like where all peoples could be on the mountain. But if you're telling me I don't have a chance just because you don't like who you think I am, sit down. Karen Walker says Prince Harry did the right thing to get his wife and children out of there. I don't think Princess Meghan would survive there. She fought so hard to be the woman she is and the life she had, now to be 50%. Absolutely. Absolutely. She did. She fought so hard. And can you be less? How do you hold those two things at the same time, like simultaneously? You are less than me, but I want you to be 50% of who you are. Does that make sense? You're not as good as I am, but please be 50% less. Harry and Meghan worked more in 1 month, like doing all the things that they've done, than most of the people in that family. You know, Princess Anne is a worker bee like her mom, right? But most of the people in that family, they don't do jack. And when they decide, for whatever reasons, whether they're valid or whether we think they're valid or not, the Duchess, the Princess, the Queen, Meghan and Harry didn't have those same choices. When they said, hey, her mental health is suffering, can we be half in and half? Oh no, we're gonna like report that in the media, and then we're gonna call you grifters, and we're gonna say, like, what? Look at the number of engagements they did, and then look at the impact. Look at the impact on the people that Harry and Meghan had. The way they impacted the people, you can't buy that kind of impact. People literally love them. And so what you did was, okay, enough. I don't want that Princess Diana shine, allegedly, so attack. Princess Diana outshined her husband, allegedly, because she was who she is. She was a worker bee, and people saw her heart. And then never again, right? But here we are again. Is this Groundhog Day? Are we repeating the same day? Like, are we having Groundhog Day with kids now? But with our darling boys? Marshall says, I believe Lilibet will look like Diana. They say Charlotte does. But no, she looks like QE2. Charlotte's future beauty scares them. Beauty is another reason they hate Meghan. It's superficial but true. Yeah, Charlotte's gonna be beautiful. Like I think like her mom. And we know Lilibet, Lily, after Aunt Lily and QE2, right? We can't forget Aunt Lily. Because she was out here doing that thing. And then the thing that makes me so, like, when we think about Meghan's friends, let us not forget, like, a lot of times our family members are our best friends. My Aunt Lily, my great Aunt Lily, Meghan's great Aunt Lily, who's out here in real estate doing the dang thing, being the first woman, Black female manager of a real estate office. Come on. Meghan's grandmother, a nurse. Let me see, how can you trash a nurse? It's pretty hard. Meghan's grandfather, an antiques dealer. He was an artist in his own right out here collecting things, antiques, pieces of art. What do we see her doing? Loving art, right? Loving design, loving beautiful things. Making sustainable, trying to make these things sustainable. So he was out here doing all of that. So you have a nurse and an antique dealer as a grandparent who were born in like 29? And you want to say she was doing what? It don't work like that. Like, she was loved. Then you get to her mama, who's a social worker, and she was a makeup artist. And, we give him something too. He was a lighting director. They both worked on sets. Doria, and that's how they met. They met on the set. She was doing her thing, he was doing his. They got married. It lasted probably for 1 good year or less, filed for divorce, and they went their separate ways, and they took care of their child in many ways, right? She came from people. She didn't come from nowhere. So when you make up stories, like, there is evidence out there. What does her passport stamp say? What was she doing in Nigeria after the blow up? What was she doing? How was she working with the UN? She was literally, and then you want to make up lies about her? There is evidence at the UN in multiple countries around what she was doing. Come on. She was a what? Lies. Sussex Squad is brilliant. Sussex Squad got receipts. You don't want the smoke of the Sussex Squad. You want to project the things that people are saying about the person that you support onto her. But the problem is that tiny little word called facts. Her passport has been stamped in these countries. Her work record at the UN and her working in these spaces is well documented. You can't make her in your own image. You can't remake her in the image of some trash person. We won't let you lie. Remember, we know what you said about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was the most hated man in America. We know that QE2 refused to meet with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We understand that. She maybe regretted it. She still refused to meet with him. Those two things are both true, allegedly, right? You didn't meet with him. One of the best people to ever walk on the face of the earth. Assassinated. For what? Trying to help sanitation workers? Or was it larger than that? Not just trying to help unionize and help sanitation workers get their rights. That was one. Muhammad Ali. I remember asking my grandfather, why do they hate him? They hate him because some of them hate him because they don't understand him, and some of them hate him because they do. I remember what that felt like. To see a beautiful man who was trying to do the right thing and speak up for marginalized people, his marginalized people, and reading about What he said about the Vietnam War. You're the most hated man in America till you can't speak anymore. Oh, we love you. No, but we don't forget. We got receipts in our basements. We collect and keep old newspapers. We got old Ebony magazines. We got old Jet magazines. Look on page 37 of Jet and 19, whatever. We can tell you. You said this thing about Martin. You said this thing about Malcolm. And now here you go again. Talking smack about our Duchess. Talking smack about our Queen. We won't let you. We know your track record. What do these values represent? A kind of apartheid. A kind of passbook. Nope, we're not stamping your passport. We're not stamping your passbook. You're not allowed to marry into this family. You are not. Put whatever adjective, put whatever noun you want there with the letter S. Blanks are not allowed in this space. Nope. What percent? Oh, so if you're 40, oh, okay. 43% Nigerian? Oh, no. No, you can't come in. That means you're about half something else, right? Right? No, you don't get to tell us. We know what it felt like to have, some of our parents, most of our parents lived through redlining in major cities in this country, and they had forms of this in other places, like the Windrush generation in the UK. We know what you did and how you try to put people on planes, 747s, send them back to Africa. We're done. They did what they were supposed to do over here. We don't need them anymore, allegedly, right? We know, but you don't get to do that to Meghan. We love her. We formed the Sussex Squad because we love her, and we saw ourselves in her. And you know what? When she don't need us anymore, we will rise up and stand up for somebody else. And most likely we have squads already that are formed that when we need to stand up against and for a certain person or a certain thing, you can count on us. Squad got your back. We see and understand the implications of your word. Yeah, she's not out here swimming with these sharks by herself for no reason. You put her in danger. You made her hurt to the point that she didn't want to exist. Throwing rocks, throwing swords, throwing bombs, Molotov cocktails, whatever you could. Because she married a man? And you didn't think she belonged in that institution? What? So that justifies your hate. That justifies your targeted harassment. That justifies her loss of Jack. That justifies your behavior. You, who are you? And who are your friends? Let's take a look at who you are. Okay, who's your mama? Who's your papa? What did they teach you? They teach you how to pray. They teach you about the right foods to eat. They teach you how to work and think at the top of your form. Did they teach you to be kind and gentle to people? Okay, and when you got big enough, let's say 3, who are your friends? At 5, at 15, at 30, at 40, who are your friends? Oh, okay. We see, oh, Kevin Spacey, I got you. What does he represent? Oh, they took him down? Who? Why? What happened? What had happened was, oh, he better not ever go to cell block 1. I am Meghan Markle. Yes, man. Thank you so much. I am Meghan Markle. Yes. Because we see, we get it, we understand, we feel it. And when she needs us, we're here. And when we need her, we're here too. Because we are family and we are friends and we align ourselves with people who are like us. And we also know they're not like us. They're not like us. The British media, nah, dog, they ain't. Kevin Spacey, is he like us? I don't think so. No, I know not. I know he ain't like me. I ain't even not. I'm gonna. I'll put that on my mama. He ain't like me. He ain't like me. He ain't like me. We are not alike. Why would you? What impulse? Because of your brother? Yeah, well, they're saying some other things about you too. And if those things are true, then I understand why you deflect, why you need to bring her into it, why you need to take down, because she, like, people like her. She's got shine. Okay. That was stupid. Because had you allowed them to love on her and to show her in all her goodness, it might not have, like, caused people to take a look under your sheets, to take a look under the table to see who are you sending support to. So, because again, he's been out here wilding, apparently, allegedly, and we're gonna find out more about that. We love our Duchess, and she has loved on us. Like when she gives us a shout out, for me, it means a lot. It means a lot for her to say and recognize that the squad does. Not only do we do this stuff for her, but we support the things that she supports, because we support those things because they are like us. The charities that she supports, rescue animals and feminine products for girls who cannot go to school because they don't have them. Yes, I'm in favor of these things. How much for a cup? Oh, not much. Yes, I can give $10. I can give $20. Absolutely. For a good cause like that will allow a society to change. Because providing feminine products for girls will change a whole society if they have them, because those girls can go to school for those 5 days that they would be staying home because they didn't have the products. It's a big, big thing. What do you miss? Like, try to go back to school after in a public school in, where I used to teach, and miss a day. Kids are like, I don't know what we're doing. I know. Well, we're going to have to try to figure out how to catch you up. Did you look online? Did you do this? Now miss 5 days every month because of no feminine products. When has the Monarchy come out in favor of feminine products for girls? What are their charities, and what do they actually do other than handshakes and smiles? As they said, we can only offer a smile here, a handshake there. What? What? A smile? Like, dude, we don't need you to smile, William. Allegedly, we don't need you to smile. we need, like if you're at a food bank, we don't need you stirring empty pots. What did you bring? How about instead of, doing that again, why not just bring some food trucks? It ain't hard. Note to people in the, if you work for them and you happen in, how about doing something humane for the people who are suffering? Bring a couple of food trucks like Meghan did, and let them get what they want, what they desire. Let them have a beautiful day when they're already suffering. Yeah. You can take pantry goods and all that, and they can put that wherever they need to put it to carry them home. But how about do something humane outside of just giving perishables and non-perishable foods and stuff? Right? Well, who are you? And who are you to us? Like, who are we to each other? I know who we are in the Sussex Squad to Meghan and to each other. We are clear about that. Marsha, Professor Z about Muhammad Ali. Sad thing is that his hometown still has high racism problems. Some counties in Kentucky are still high Klan, and they let it be known. Change is still needed in the South. Absolutely. Because sometimes they try to erase the race of the people that, got over. My soul looked up and wondered how I got over. They try to erase, and like, you are no longer a member of this group. You get to be an honorary whatever. No. And yes, Muhammad Ali is an amazing, is in that he will always exist as long as humans exist. As long as information exists, he will exist. Yes, and Kentucky is, woo, it's a bunch of states, and some of them are even in the north. Like Ohio's got some issues, and Indiana, not too long ago, and perhaps today, you could still allegedly roll up and find a Klan rally. So there are lots of these things that used to like not be so. And I mean 5, 10 years ago. I don't mean like no distant past. I mean like really, really recently. You have cities getting Klan rally passes all the time, right? We see you in the public domain. We see you out here in the public square. But what are you also doing when you're behind closed doors? What are you saying? Karen Werner says her only crime is falling in love and loving a wonderful man, her soulmate, the most charming prince, the people's prince. Absolutely. And how can you fault someone for loving an amazing person? She didn't. It's not like she fell in love with Kevin Spacey. Allegedly, right? It's not like she fell in love with Kevin Spacey, allegedly, right? She fell in love with the wonderful, the people's prince. And, you know, since he was licking it when his mom said, stick out your tongue, and he stuck out his tongue to the media when he was a baby, people fell in love, right? And we still love him. She tried to make a world for him. She tried to create a world for him that was beautiful and loving. And then she was gone. And he got a whole, you know, let me squeeze your knee, baby. Darling boy, right? We love Harry. We love Meghan. We love the Sussexes because, like, trust us. Because, like, look at their friends. Trash people are not going to hang out with you if you're a trash person. I mean, good people are not going to hang out for too long with people who are trash. And that might need it to cause some of us to self-reflect. Like, okay, this is happening too often. But if you're trying to hang out with good people and do good things, even though you're flawed like we all are, good job. Keep trying, right? And how can you figure out a way to make yourself a better human being? I would say, dare I say, look at the things that Meghan does. Let that be a kind of roadmap. You don't have to start an in there, but that can be a place that you visit. What does she do? What does she advocate for? Who are her friends? Who is her mama? Who's her aunties and uncles? Oh, Negro Leagues? Check. Real estate? Check. Like professionals? Check. People who are working in regular jobs? Check. She's got all of these boxes. What was she doing as a little kid? Oh, that campaign that she wrote too about the the soap, like this is good for women's hands or whatever. What? Women's? Wait a second. You saying women are the only ones that wash dishes? Don't think so. Fix it. You know, writing books when she's a little kid that are in the Library of Congress. What was she doing? What's her map? And you want to make her what? You don't want your daughters to be like her, your sons to be like her? Oh, okay. Who said what? And you trust Candace Owens allegedly? What do Candace Owens family members and friends say about her? At least her, you know, like people who were formerly her friend. What do they say? Oh, she's trying to get invited back to the cookout. Oh, okay. What are they saying? They say no thanks? You might not want to align yourself with places and people who look to Candace Owens. Because, yeah, those reasons, allegedly, right? And so, anyway, I'm sorry my slides didn't work. This has been a fun episode. Again, I had Jerron Coco's program. We had to do a whole lot of things for that. And so I was away, but I will be here tomorrow. And I missed you guys. I missed you guys so much. Thank you guys for supporting the pod. Thank you guys for always being there. I really, really appreciate it, right? Um, and, come back tomorrow for the episode where we're going to talk. Let me show you. I think I showed a bit of it. Those slides are working. I think they were. Transition. So this one, Meghan X, King Charles. Hold on. Let me see if I can stop it. Stop. Let me see. Okay. See if I can go back. Back again. 4, 3. So this is what we're talking about tomorrow. I'm left eye. No, I always saw myself as a kind of left eye because I love her. But yeah, so for King Charles, what about your friends, right? Meghan X, King Charles, what about your friends? Gwen says, she's talking to Karen. Exactly. They couldn't stand that Harry found a beautiful lady who loves him. Yes. So tomorrow, I don't have all the slides up, not even half of them, but you can see what he faced. Oh. Piers Morgan asked him, and when your trouble started, when the scandal blew up, did he reach out to you? He did reach out to you, he stated. And then, yeah. So we're oh gosh, it's a whole mess. So send him a supportive message, and so you're just like, what about your friend? Oh gosh. Novi, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You guys love Left Eye? Anybody love Left Eye out there? I miss her. She was like my spirit person. When I was young, I loved Left Eye, Left Eye, Left Eye. Marshard's message is coming up. Interracial couples will have to deal with racism, mostly from the family. My hubby is white. His dad and younger sister wasn't happy, and the rest of it hasn't come up. Yeah, and so it's like, okay, here it comes. Wasn't happy. I strongly told them both that I loved him, and no one else mattered. I know you did. I know you did, Marshard. Does he have the black wife effect? We talked about that before, and like those glow ups, they are real. Because, like, just speaking about African American women, black women, they will give you a glow up, right? Because we want a match. Okay, it's fine. Like, and it's a glow up not just around your physicality, but you likely gonna get that haircut. You're gonna likely get those shoes and that fit or outfit. You're gonna get that fit, and you're gonna be looking like swaggy, if you will. So, and the most important thing is that we do it because we love you and we want you to. We saw Harry out here, and we've talked about it, with his holes all up in his shoes. Poor baby. Like, what? How can you be from a family who has a whole freaking empire? Remember, the sun never sets on the British Empire, right? You got a whole empire, and this baby ain't got shoes. Like, he walking around in shoes with holes in them. Come on. Like, how he needed to be loved up on. She saw that, like, babe, let me see your shoes. What? Let me see your shoes. Show me your shoes, and I'll tell you who your family is. And it's not like about like families who are not hardworking, because we know where to go. Like where I live, you can go to a little shop called Dee Dee's. Like, there are places you can go and get swaggy looking clothes that will last okay, and shoes for, you can get a pair of $10 shoes if that's all you got. You can find a pair of shoes that will protect your feet, because it's not just the rain and the mud. What about the nails and the rocks that you're walking on? Like, there are needles. There are lots of things that are extremely harmful, that can be extremely harmful. He had no business out here in these streets with his feet unprotected. He did not. There's no excuse for it, right? And so, yeah, shout out to Marshar, and for loving, like, shout out to all of you who love on your partner. Shout out to all of you who love on your friends and your family members. Shout out to all of you who are in the squad and who love up on Meghan and who bring receipts, who care enough to bring receipts, because that's what we do. We care enough about the Duchess to make sure that it's not just small evidence that we have big evidence. Like, nope, remember on the November 21st of 2017 when you say, yep, got it right here. What time was that? Oh, it was on which oh, it was on Twitter. Oh, it was on Twitter and it was also posted on Insta. Oh, okay. Yep, got that. Nope, I took a snap of Snapchat when you did. Like, whatever it is. The squad is brilliant. The squad is keeping receipts. The squad, most of all, is a loving organization, a loving group of, it's a loving family, I should say. And friends. Like, what about your friends? Like, we are the squad. We are friends. We are family. We are all of those things. And I don't think we're gonna be aligning ourselves with people like Kevin Spacey, allegedly, because that's not who we are. So I have had a wonderful time today with all of you. I can't wait till tomorrow. I've missed you, and I will tell Gerard Coco, he's not been in here today, that you guys said congratulations for promoting. And yeah, he hasn't bugged us lately, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so we were at his commencement and it was beautiful, and he, I was like all up in his, grill, oh baby, blah blah blah. So anyway, just wanted to say that to you guys. And as we close, take care of yourselves. Be good to yourselves, whatever you need to do. If you need to take a break, take a break. But like, be out here if you can in these Sussex Squad streets. Get some receipts, do some homework, love up on your family, love up on your friends, give them the black wife effect or whichever effect that you want to give them if they need that. Because we definitely give Meghan her glow up every single day, and I enjoy being out here in these streets with you guys. It is one of the great pleasures of my life. So thank you again, and I am going to say ciao until tomorrow. You guys take care. Bye bye. Oh, Marshall. Let's see. Oh, yes, Abby definitely has. I'm thinking that's going to say the black white effect or something similar to that. I know he does. I know he does. Black wife effect, but the boy was wild before me. Yes. Look at that. Elizabeth says, Squatties love. We love and look out for each other. We absolutely do. And like how that translates. Yep. How that translates, Marshall says, I get viciously protective of Meghan because my kids are her. My daughters are very beautiful. My son is handsome. So I will always. You're going to be dragging out here, Marshall. Yes, like when we understand that people are, allegedly racist, it is a scary kind of thing because how far does that extend? And words can be damaging, right? Words can definitely be damaging, but when it goes beyond that, sometimes it does into, beyond just bullying with words, and that's bad enough, right? Because that's what our Duchess faced, and we saw how that could have ended. And kids don't have the skill set, and even the Duchess didn't have not the skill set, but she didn't have, she had so much of that she couldn't take another thing. And so we're out here like typing, right? So to be viciously protective, yes, sometimes we have to. And that takes a toll on us too. Like, why can't we just live? Why can't we just live and enjoy our lives, enjoy the view, as they say? But no, like the situation requires for us to bring receipts. The situation requires for us to draw intersections. So how do Charles and Meghan intersect along friends? Well, we talked about one. And we only talked, and that was enough, really, right? Just that one friendship or that one guy that you're sending, sweet words to, support to. That's a big mess already, right? So yeah, and we need Marshall out here in these streets being
viciously protective of Meghan. Because when you're protective of Meghan, like we see that and we can extrapolate that to ourselves, right? And we do, like, so because we are the squad. We are amazing, wonderful, loving people who will handle it when we need to. And it is like the media with respect to pushing back against lies and misinformation against the Duchess and her friends and family. We got us, we got her. And that's what I say. So you always, Marshall, always. There's one more that I can't see, so yeah. I'm sorry guys. So anyway, we have been on for just a little while today. Yeah, 2:38. Not bad. But I had a wonderful time with you all, and I hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Some of you, many of you, out here in these Sussex Squad streets. Again, I enjoyed my time here, and shout out to Left Eye. All right, you guys, you have a wonderful rest of your day, and take care. Did I forget any? Oh, shout out to the mods if there were any out here I didn't necessarily see the mods today, but if you were out here and I missed you, shout out to all the people who gave donations. That is so much appreciated. Shout out to all the people who talked in the chat. That helps too. Like that helps so much, and it helps me too. Like when I, because it get, thank you, Gwen. It, yeah, when we get people to talk, it makes the podcast feel a lot more fluid for me. Yeah, okay. So I will see you guys. Thank you, Marshar. Bye, guys, and have a wonderful rest of your day. And take a little time to enjoy. I'm not going to steal that. All right. I'm going to say bye. Ciao, guys.